You're scrolling through Amazon at 11 p.m. Your laptop is running fine, but you've been eyeing the new MacBook Air M3. The reviews are incredible. The battery lasts forever. It's on sale, $200 off. You pull the trigger. $1,100. Worth it for your productivity, right? The package arrives 2 days later. You open it and the aluminum unibody feels like the future in your hands. You set it on your desk and your wireless mouse from 2019 looks like a relic next to it. The plastic is yellowed. The scroll wheel sticks. It feels wrong to pair this engineering marvel with a $15 mouse, so you order the Magic Mouse. Then you notice your desk, particle board from college, scratched and wobbling, a $1,100 laptop on an $80 desk. You browse standing desks. Then you realize your monitor doesn't match the color calibration of the new display. 3 weeks later, you've spent $2,400 on a laptop upgrade that was supposed to cost $1,100. You just paid the escalation tax. And if you don't understand how it works, it will quietly drain every dollar you'll ever make. I'm Stick, and I reverse engineer the financial traps that keep intelligent people perpetually broke despite good incomes. If you've ever looked at your bank account and thought, where did it all go? While surrounded by stuff you don't use, hit that subscribe button now. Because the brutal truth is this. You don't buy things in isolation. You buy them in systems, and systems are expensive. The philosopher's trap. Let's go back to 1769. There's a French writer named Denis Diderot. He's brilliant, but struggling. Worn clothes, broken furniture, living on scraps. Then Catherine II of Russia buys his personal library for the equivalent of $50,000 today. Overnight, he's flush with cash. First thing he does? Buys himself a luxurious scarlet robe. Finally, something worthy of his intellect. He puts it on and sits at his desk to write, and that's when the horror begins. The robe is magnificent. His desk is garbage. The juxtaposition is painful. He can't work surrounded by this visual inconsistency, so he replaces the desk. Solid mahogany, beautiful. But now the new desk makes his threadbare carpet look offensive. He buys a Damascus rug. The rug makes his faded curtains look like poverty. New curtains. The curtains make his cracked mirror look absurd. New mirror. The mirror makes his plain walls look empty. New paintings. This continues for months until his entire apartment has been transformed. And when the dust settles, Diderot is broke again. He later publishes an essay called Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown, where he writes, I was absolute master of my old robe, but I have become a slave to my new one. The robe didn't just cost money, it cost everything. The coherence penalty. Here's what Diderot accidentally discovered. Humans are wired for consistency. When you introduce one premium item into your environment, it creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, a mental discomfort from holding contradictory realities. Your brain sees the expensive laptop next to the cheap mouse and experiences genuine psychological stress. Not because you're shallow, but because consistency is how your brain confirms its understanding of reality. Think about the promotion lifestyle trap. You get a raise, 15% more income. Suddenly you're a manager. And managers don't pack leftover pasta for lunch. Managers don't drive 10-year-old sedans. Managers don't buy their clothes at Target. The promotion changes your identity, and your identity demands congruent symbols. You start eating out more. You lease a newer car. You upgrade your wardrobe. Within 6 months, your expenses have increased by 20%, which means you're actually worse off than before the raise. You're making more money but losing more wealth. I watched this destroy a friend's finances in real time. She got promoted to director of marketing. $40,000 salary increase. Incredible, right? First thing she did was move to a better apartment in a better neighborhood. $800 more per month. Directors live in nice buildings. Then she needed work clothes that matched her title. $3,000 in new suits and shoes. Then her old Toyota Corolla felt embarrassing in the executive parking lot, so she leased a BMW 3 Series, $650 per month. Then she started going to the restaurants her colleagues went to because she couldn't be the director eating fast food while everyone else networked over $40 entrees. In 18 months, her raise cost her $25,000 in new baseline expenses she couldn't eliminate. She didn't get a promotion. She got a financial sentence. But here's where it gets darker. Social media has turned the escalation tax into a public performance. When you post your new gym membership at the premium facility downtown, you're not just announcing exercise, you're announcing an identity. And identities have mandatory accessories. Gym membership at Equinox? You can't show up in ratty gym shorts and a free t-shirt from a 5K you ran in 2018. You need Lululemon. You need Allbirds. You need a Hydro Flask. You need wireless earbuds that cost more than your monthly electric bill. The gym becomes the anchor, and everything else escalates to match the public story you've told. Someone buys a Peloton and posts the unboxing. Suddenly their living room is under audit by 300 followers. The bike looks amazing. The carpet is disgusting. The coffee table is scratched particle board. The walls are blank. They can't post their cycling progress with that background, so they start upgrading the room piece by piece. Not because they wanted to redecorate, because they committed to a visual standard in front of an audience, and now they're trapped maintaining it. Here's the equation. Public identity shift equals private spending obligation. The more you broadcast your life, the more expensive your life becomes. Because every post is a contract with your audience about who you're supposed to be, and breaking that contract creates social shame. You're not decorating for yourself anymore. You're decorating for the 47 people who saw your story. The renovation contagion. Let me walk you through the most expensive version of this. Home renovation. You decide to redo your bathroom, just the bathroom. Budget, $8,000. Seems controlled, right? You rip out the old vanity and install a floating double sink with a quartz countertop. Looks incredible. But the bathtub is now visibly disgusting next to it. Yellowed, chipped, the grout blackened with mildew. You didn't notice before because everything was equally old, but now the contrast is unbearable. You replace the tub, $3,500. The new tub has modern lines, so your old brushed nickel fixtures look dated. You upgrade to matte black rainfall showerhead, new faucets, $1,200. But the lighting is too warm and dim to show off the new finishes, so you install LED recessed lights, $800. The mirror is too small and plain, so you get a custom backlit mirror, $600. You're at $14,100. You've almost doubled your budget. But here's the killer. The bathroom is now gorgeous, and the hallway leading to it has beige carpet from 2003. Guests walk through that hallway to get to your $14,000 bathroom, and the contrast is humiliating. You replace the hallway carpet, $2,000. The new carpet stops at the bedroom door, and now the bedroom carpet looks disgusting. You replace the bedroom, $2,500. The bedroom has new carpet, but the paint is scuffed and discolored. You repaint, $1,200. You started with an $8,000 bathroom. You're at $19,800, and you haven't left the second floor. This is what I call renovation contagion. Upgrades are infectious, and they don't respect the boundaries you set in your original budget. System cost, the real price tag. This brings us to the fundamental error in how people think about purchases. You see a price tag and ask, can I afford $600? Wrong question. The right question is, can I afford the system this belongs to? You buy a dog. The adoption fee is $150. Seems reasonable. But dogs don't exist in isolation. They exist in systems. Does the dog need food? $80 per month? Vet visits? $500 per year. Grooming? $70 per month. Toys, leash, collar, bed, crate? $400. Training classes? $300. Pet insurance? $50 per month. Then your apartment doesn't allow dogs, so you move to one that does. $200 per month more. You need a bigger car to transport the dog. You can't travel as much because you need dog care. That $150 dog is a $5,000 per year system. Over the dog's 12-year life, $60,000 plus. Or take the cheap golf habit. You buy used clubs for $400. Great deal, right? But you can't play golf without golf balls, tees, a bag, shoes, glove, range time, greens fees, lessons to not be terrible, a membership to a club so you can actually play regularly, golf clothes because you can't wear basketball shorts, a push cart, a subscription to a GPS app, travel to decent courses. The $400 clubs are the down payment on a $3,000 per year lifestyle. And if you play for 20 years, that's $60,000 on a cheap hobby. I almost fell for this with photography. I wanted to get into it. Entry-level DSLR camera, $800, totally reasonable. But then I started researching. The kit lens is garbage. I'd need a 50mm prime, $200. A wide angle, $400. A telephoto, $600. I'd need a tripod, $150. A camera bag, $100. Memory cards, $80. Editing software, $120 per year. A faster computer to run the editing software, $1,500. An external hard drive for storage, $200. Courses to learn how to actually use the equipment, $300. I'd need to travel to interesting places to take photos. I'd join photography clubs and go on photo walks. The $800 camera was actually a $6,000 first-year commitment. I didn't buy the camera. I put that $6,000 into index funds instead. 4 years later, it's worth $9,200. The camera would be worth $200 used and collecting dust. So how do you stop this? First firewall, the replacement test. Before buying anything, ask, what am I replacing and why wasn't the current thing good enough yesterday? If your phone worked fine yesterday, but today, after seeing an ad, it suddenly feels slow, you're not solving a problem. You're creating one. The item you currently own hasn't changed. Your perception has, and purchasing something because of a perception shift, not a functional need, is the definition of manipulated spending. I use this test relentlessly. Someone tries to sell me on a new productivity app. My response, what am I replacing and what failure caused me to need a replacement? If I can't articulate a specific, measurable failure of my current system, I don't buy. Most of the time, there is no failure. There's just shiny new marketing. This works for everything. New running shoes? What's wrong with the current ones? New kitchen knife? Is the current one actually dull, or did you just watch a YouTube video about Japanese steel? New desk chair? Does your back actually hurt? Or did you see an ad for an ergonomic chair and suddenly become aware of discomfort that didn't exist 10 minutes ago? Second firewall, the entropy budget. Every object you own creates entropy, disorder, maintenance, mental load. Before buying something, calculate the entropy cost. That espresso machine, it needs descaling every month, backflushing every week, new filters, cleaning tablets, a grinder that also needs maintenance, fresh beans that go stale, and 15 minutes every morning. You could be doing literally anything else. The entropy cost is 30 hours per year. Is the coffee worth 30 hours of your life annually? That treadmill in your basement, it needs lubrication, belt alignment, software updates, dusting, and it's taking up 20 square feet of space that could be used for something else. The entropy cost is high. Meanwhile, running outside is free and requires zero maintenance. I stopped buying things that have high entropy costs. No more gadgets that need apps. No more furniture that requires special cleaning products. No more hobbies with consumables. I'm not interested in being a maintenance worker for my possessions. Third firewall, the freedom audit. Before buying, ask, does this increase my freedom or my obligations? A boat sounds like freedom, open water, adventure, escape. But boats require storage, insurance, maintenance, licensing, towing equipment, fuel, winterization, repairs, and they depreciate 10% per year. You don't own a boat owns you. A vacation home sounds like freedom, your own beach retreat. But it requires a second mortgage, property taxes, utilities, maintenance, landscaping, pest control, HOA fees, insurance, and it forces you to vacation in the same place every year because you should use it to justify the cost. You don't own a vacation home. A vacation home owns you. Contrast that with renting an Airbnb anywhere in the world. Zero obligations, total freedom, pay for what you use, nothing more. The freedom audit reveals that most upgrades are actually downgrades in freedom. You think you're buying capability, but you're actually buying captivity. Here's the move almost nobody makes. Strategic baseline reduction. You deliberately downgrade one highly visible status symbol to reset your entire cost structure. You drive a 2015 Honda Accord instead of leasing a new Mercedes. That single decision gives you permission to wear normal clothes. Nobody expects luxury fashion from an Accord driver. Eat cheap food without judgment. Live in a regular apartment. Skip expensive activities. Not care about dings, scratches, or where you park. That one downgraded anchor item eliminates thousands of dollars in congruent spending. You've given yourself permission to be normal in every other category. I know a surgeon who makes $450,000 a year and drives a 2012 Toyota Camry. People ask him why, and he says, "Because I'm building wealth, not an image." His Camry has 180,000 miles. It costs him $800 per year to maintain. He saves $60,000 per year compared to his colleagues who lease luxury cars. Over 20 years, that's $1.2 million plus investment returns. He'll retire 10 years before his peers, all because he refused to upgrade his anchor item. You don't need to be a surgeon to use this. Downgrade one visible thing. Maybe it's your car. Maybe it's your phone. Buy the base model, not the Pro Max Ultra. Maybe it's your apartment. Live in a normal neighborhood, not the trendy one. Whatever it is, that downgrade is your insurance policy against the escalation tax. Look, nice things aren't evil, but you need to understand what you're actually buying. You're not buying an object, you're buying into a system of future costs that the object will demand. Every purchase is a vote. When you buy the luxury gym membership, you're voting for $200 per month in athletic wear to match. When you buy the gaming PC, you're voting for $500 per year in games and upgrades. When you renovate your kitchen, you're voting for renovating the rest of the house eventually. The alternative? Vote for optionality. Optionality means you can take a pay cut for better work-life balance because you're not servicing debt and high fixed costs. It means you can quit and try something new because your burn rate is low. It means you can weather emergencies because you're not one missed paycheck from disaster. The richest people I know aren't the ones with the nicest cars. They're the ones who can say no to jobs, relationships, and situations that don't serve them because they're not imprisoned by the obligations their possessions created. Denis Diderot learned this in 1769. He traded his freedom for a robe. Don't trade your freedom for a laptop, a car, or a kitchen. Keep your baseline low, your obligations minimal, and your options open. If you want to build wealth instead of maintaining appearances, hit subscribe. We're building a community that values freedom over furniture. I'll see you in the next breakdown.